Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As those who have watched my channel with any sort of frequency may well know, I'm not the biggest fan of the so-called digital wallet scheme, mostly for the reason, well, I'm not a Keynesianist or a monetarist. I don't like injecting money by the government into the system. We're better off being taxed less by the government, being able to do more business, than having them scrape a bunch of wealth off and then give us back our own money, which is basically what it amounts to. Or it redistributes it to people who didn't make the money in the first place, which I do understand that there are times when people are going through hard times and economic distress and need help. But most of the time, these things are just they're basically just political boondoggles for politicians to try to buy votes or curry favor with the electorate. That said, I've been thinking about, it's one of those sort of adages they say, if you're going to say a plan is bad, do you have an alternative? Well, maybe I do. I thought of making this video after reading a recent article from the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. Article is titled, Thai Government Seeks to Prevent Social Security Fund Collapse. So for a little bit of insight perspective, Thailand does have a Social Security fund. Anybody that is doing their own business in Thailand, maintains their own work permit as a foreigner here, will be well aware of this, as you have to make contributions to your employee's Social Security fund. But long story short, this is one of those things that was sort of adopted from the West that I think Thailand would have just been better off not having it at all. Because quite honestly, it looks to me like oftentimes it's more trouble than it's worth. That said, quoting directly from Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com, Labor Minister Pipat Ratchakiprakan on Sunday pledged to explore measures to prevent a potential collapse of the Social Security Fund a decade from now as a result of insufficient funding. According to the Thailand Development Research Institute and the International Labor Organization, the SSF currently has 2.6 trillion baht and is expected to grow to at least 4 trillion baht by 2034. However, the fund's growth does not mean it is sustainable because Thailand is facing a shrinking workforce of people who can contribute to the fund and an aging population problem. FYI, the United States has the exact same issue, so you're in the same boat. Cold comfort, I'm sure. Now that said, we've had all this talk about expending literally a $500 billion baht from the budget, or presumably the country goes into further debt in order to come up with these funds to create these digital wallet tokens, which, by the way, I've gone all into that analysis, but it's not real money. I don't even understand how the loan works if the people that are ultimately getting the money don't actually get the money. What are they getting? Where's the money go? That being said, if you've got a $500 billion baht on hand and you're worried about the future of the Social Security Fund and the problems that would arise from that fund collapsing, wouldn't it be a pretty good idea to maybe look at using those funds instead for propping up the Social Security Fund, which people have already paid into? And there are also people who are working. I also have to question, why is the thing collapsing? Because it's my understanding there were only death benefits being paid out for like the first decade. Everybody was just paying in the hopes of creating a big pot of capital and get interest and money off that pot of capital, then pay it back out to people. But now they're saying it's doomed to collapse. Well, where's all the money? I mean, that's a good question. What do you do with it? Are you spending it on administration rather than spending it on paying out? Meanwhile, though, we have this $500 billion. I'm not saying this is the answer, though, but if we're thinking about expending $500 billion baht and the issue is the welfare of the common Thai, wouldn't this be a logical place to at least look?